Was your intention to go kill him today? Yes or no?
A startling revelation midway through a police interview when a Virginia man admits he set his romantic rival on fire.
Was your intention to go kill him today? Yes or no, the answer was one word. Yeah, not shouted, not hesitated, delivered like a man confirming a lunch order. That single syllable sits at the center of a case that begins not with a crime scene, but with a marriage already dissolving in slow motion.
Fire.
I threw a bucket of gasoline on, and that was because he had sex with my wife.
The suspect didn't deny what he did. He explained it. I threw a bucket of gasoline on him, and that was because he had sex with my wife. In law, that's called a confession. In plain English, it's called the moment the story stops being about if and becomes entirely about why.
We're taking you inside the interrogation room for the shocking case.
He was probably terrified.
And later, hearing from the defendant's very own attorney.
It's not just a simple, he's upset, so he's, deranged or something, set this man on.
Here is the visual anchor. Picture a plastic gas can sitting on the passenger seat of a parked car, still slick at the spout, the receipt from a Danville gas station folded once and left on the dashboard. Nobody has touched the can. Nobody has removed the receipt. The car just sits there, engine cooling, while down the street a man is already burning. That is the whole case in a single still frame.
Fire, there was a lot of evidence that I would say is mitigating.
This is Scandal, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Sierra Gillespie. The fires of love taking on a whole new meaning in this case when a jealous husband admits to setting his wife's alleged side piece ablaze after a lover's quarrel.
The public record tells us Lee Vogler was a Danville city councilman, elected young, a decade in office, a platform built on community and jobs. What the public record does not tell you is what it felt like to stand outside his office on July 30th and hear the first scream. Nobody asked. Nobody answered.
I was saying to her, I didn't understand how to love you properly, and it was just rejected, and I just lost my cool. My wife had an affair with pushing myself on fire.
The alleged affair began, according to Shotsi Buck Hayes, around September 2024. 10 months later, Mary Alice filed for divorce. In between those two dates sits the entire emotional infrastructure of this case: suspicion, humiliation, silence. The paperwork already knew the marriage was over. The husband was the last to accept it.
Today's scandal takes us to Danville, Virginia, where since 2012, Lee Vogler has served on the city council. According to his profile on the city's website, Lee was actually the youngest person ever elected to the Danville City Council when he was only 24 years old. He's served as a councilman for more than a decade now, running on a platform of community building, supporting local businesses, and bringing more jobs.
Vogler's city profile shows a young politician, a resume of civic achievement. But to Shotsi Buck Hayes, he was something else entirely. The official title said councilman. The accusation underneath said interloper. The gap between those two interpretations is where this story lives.
To the area. Lee's resume is impressive, to say the very least, but according to one-time Danville resident Shotsi Buck Hayes, Lee was involved with more than just city council work. It's unclear how exactly the alleged relationship began between Lee and Shotsi's wife, Mary Alice, or how far it actually.
When detectives questioned Shotsi about the day of the attack, he did not describe a random impulse. He described a sequence: a phone call, a rejection, a drive to a gas station, a purchase, $3 worth of gasoline. The legal term is premeditation. The human term is escalation.
Actually went. Shotsi told detectives he believed the affair started around September 2024, and that about 10 months later, Mary Alice filed for divorce.
He told police he went to where Lee worked, the Showcase magazine offices on Main Street. He paced in the foyer. He waited. The details are small, but they matter. A man who only wanted to scare someone does not wait in the foyer with an open bucket.
When detectives questioned Shotsi about what led up to the incident, he pointed to a conversation with Mary Alice.
Me and my wife had a conversation today on the phone, and I was basically freaking out all night, and then we had a bad conversation.
What was the conversation about?
Detectives asked what happened when Vogler opened the door. Shotsi said the man looked shocked, scared. Then he corrected himself. He was probably terrified. That word, terrified, is the only moment in the interview where the suspect seems to see the victim as a person rather than an obstacle.
I just need to, the conversation was like, I feel like I'm repeating myself. Like she said that I didn't love her, otherwise I wouldn't make some mistakes that I made. I had a
Then comes the detail that elevates this from assault to something worse. Investigators asked about a gooey substance in the bucket. Shotsi answered directly Styrofoam. He put Styrofoam in the gasoline because he thought it would make it burn longer. The confession doesn't need a lawyer's translation. It's already in plain English.
addiction, and it made her feel like she wasn't enough, or like she wasn't enough. And then me and her had pretty much PTSD, like pretty bad.
The legal defense later tried to shape this into a heat of passion argument. But here is the ticking clock moment. If this was truly blind rage, why did he stop to buy gasoline? Why did he mix in the Styrofoam? Why did he wait in the foyer? At what precise second does passion become planning?
And I was saying to her, I didn't understand how to love you properly. And it was just rejected, and I just lost my cool.
The body camera captures the aftermath. First responder at Shotsi to get out of the car, hands up, lie on the ground. The audio is immediate, raw, unedited. He still smells like gas. One officer says, the scene is not a courtroom. It's a street in Danville, and the air is still sharp with the accelerant.
So later that day, July 30th, 2025, Shotsi went to a local gas station and made a purchase.
And so what I did was there's a pile of rice in the basement, at the end of the basement next to my bed, because I had...
Lee Vogler survived. That fact alone makes this a different kind of story. Second and third degree burns on 60% of his body. Burn shock, septic shock, burned lungs from smoke inhalation, months at the UNC burn center. The councilman went back to work. The scars did not go back with him.
Rice in a bucket, and I poured the rice into a paper bag, and I went and I bought $3 gasoline.
No one could have expected what happened next.
Shotsi's attorney, Matt Peake, argued mitigating factors: the affair, the emotional collapse, the mental health record. The law has a word for this. It is called mitigation. It means the why still matters even when the what is not in dispute. Nobody asked. Nobody answered.
Oh my God. That's actual video of Lee Vogler set on fire. It's so graphic that we had to blur it out, but you can hear the person on the recording say, "Oh my God." Oh my God. Witnesses immediately called for help, and for
The legal problem was the cooling off period. In Virginia, heat of passion only works if there is no delay between the trigger and the act. Here, the gap was months. The defense knew it. The jury would have known it. That is why the case never went to trial.
responders rushed to the scene.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Hands up! Lay out on the ground. Both of them.
Shotsi Buck Hayes accepted a plea deal. Attempted first-degree murder, aggravated malicious wounding. In June 2026, he was sentenced to 35 years for malicious wounding, another 10 for attempted murder. He must serve 85% before parole eligibility. The judge called it life, suspended all but 40 years.
He still smells like gas.
Here's where I have to note, Lee Vogler miraculously survived this attack. Local station WDBJ7.
The attorney said something that should linger longer than any legal term. A lot of states call this torture. Not assault, not battery. Torture. The word hangs there because no amount of romantic betrayal explains away what a man does with gasoline and styrofoam.
Reports that Lee sustained second and third degree burns on 60% of his body. He suffered burn shock, septic shock, and burned lungs too due to smoke inhalation. But despite all of that, and months at the UNC burn center, Lee...
And then the detail no one expected. Lee Vogler and his wife are still together. The affair, if it happened, did not end their marriage. It ended another man's freedom. The irony is not subtle. It is the entire case compressed into one fact.
Survived. He's since posted a few photos to his councilman Facebook page. He mostly wears long sleeves, but in a few you can see the fallout from some of his burns. He's since gone back to work as a councilman and seems to be living a normal life. It's not quite the same though for Shotsi Buck Hayes.
The attorney said one person has never testified publicly, Mary Alice Hayes, now the ex-wife. She is the missing voice. She was the alleged sender of the alleged affair. She filed for divorce. She was not charged. She was not sentenced. She simply disappeared from the record.
Who admitted to investigators that he set Lee on fire.
I went to where Lee works and I threw a bucket of gasoline on and
So here is the call to research. Find the Danville Circuit Court docket for Commonwealth v. Shotsi Buck Hayes. Read the sentencing order. Then answer this question in the comments. What in that document tells you more about the crime than the confession itself? Because the answer is probably not what you think.
but that was because he had sex with my wife.
After he was taken into custody, Shotsi agreed to speak with investigators who followed protocol, and that means they started with his Miranda rights.
My name is Sergeant Clay. This is Corporal Grace. Okay, we're with the investigation.
Nobody asked. Nobody answered. The police did ask. The suspect did answer. But the one person who could explain why any of this happened never took the stand. That absence is not a plot hole. It is the story, and it is still waiting to be told.